helps you calibrate and elevate your life. Beth specializes in working with women who want more from their life, more energy, joy, passion, connection, and more meaning. As your coach, she will help you get clear about your life, prioritize what's important, and become a master of your energy. Visit Beth.
Hi there, Anahata Roach, the Crystal Coach here. Do you have things that you do and respond to or feel triggered by that you have no idea why? Whatever that is, whether it was something that you are even conscious about or you actually have a memory of, there is in your body stored programs and trauma that an emotional clearing will help you unlock. It's called the spiral, and it is one of the most amazing clearing modalities I've ever come across. If you'd like to know more about the spiral and this wonderful modality that has helped so many people, including myself, please go to my website, thecrystalcoach.com, and click on the discovery call. It's free, and who knows, we might be meant to work together.
Are you ready to reclaim joy in your life? Why joy? Why now? Welcome to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei, your joy guru. While the world looks like it's at a breaking point, burnout, stress, isolation, and overwhelm dominate the headlines. Within all this, there's a longing for something deeper, something that heals beyond the mind. Joy fuels health, sparks expansive thought, aligns us spiritually, and connects us to one another. Join me as I weave astrology, intuition, and modern psychology to ignite your soul's highest alignment. Each week I sit down with luminous guests who embody joy as a spiritual path, a creative force, and a way of life. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive into the joy. Because when joy rules, transformation becomes inevitable. Playmates for the soul. And you know, that is so true, because when I can get in touch with just the littlest thing that brings me joy, it totally changes my state. It totally changes my approach to everything. So welcome to Joy Rules. And my intention in everything that I do, my new YouTube channel, which is Joy Rules with Lorelei, and with the show, is that you leave after hearing a message, watching a conversation with an uptick in your joy vibration, where you just feel lighter, you feel more energized, and it's not about me, it's about you've gotten in touch with something within you based on whatever conversation I'm having or whatever I'm talking about. So I just wanted to say that. So, and if you smile just once when you watch this or listen to this, you are in joy, even if you want to call yourself all these other things that you might be feeling. So the cosmic, this is such a special episode for me, because I'm bringing my good friend and soul sister, Tara Abundance. We're turning the tables a little bit, but I want to do the just a brief cosmic weather piece, and then I'm going to intro this. And this is just one of the reasons why I was so desiring of creating my show on a Friday, because every day of the week has an energy. And again, we may get into some of that as well, but the day of Friday, vendredi in French, is the day of Venus. So what I want to share just one thing, because it's powerful. You know how I've been talking about that all the planets were moving forward. Well, now we have one that just started his retrograde, appearing to go back, Pluto, retrograde cycle until October. It's October 16th or something. That happens every year for about 5 months. That is an opportunity to unearth within yourself and within others stuff that needs to come to the surface. The beauty of who you are, the stuff that's in the way of the beauty of who you are, where you're still judging yourself, criticizing yourself. I can't do that. I can't be who I really am. Well, if the universe were delivering any message right now with the year of the fire horse and planets still in Aries, it's to be true to what is calling you or what is inspiring and motivating you from within. So Pluto is in Aquarius. So what does that mean? That means that part of what we're all mining are our friendships, Like, what is the depth of your connection with people? Are you seeing that perhaps some interactions are just more superficial, then you want a deeper connection, you want more intimacy in the relationship? Group associations, all of this kind of thing. And again, that's the shadow side of Pluto, is what we don't bring to the surface, because Pluto is essentially about unearthing where power has been misused. Anyway, what adds to that right now, today, for this show, the moon is in Aquarius. So my intention again would be that you would leave with some new idea, some new about relationship, about your relationship dynamics by something that happens here. And this moon is right next to Pluto, like the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation. So again, that you would walk away with something that lightens your load and brings you more joy. So with that said, so Tara and I'm just going to tell my quick version of it. We are united, or we are affiliated. We met at this wonderful Unity Church that we go to in Marietta, Unity North. And, you know, I'd seen her, she'd seen me. And one day, one of us, oh no, she came out of the ladies' room, that's right. And I was going into the ladies' room. You have to be at Unity to get this, but the elevator's on the right. And all of a sudden, we're in this conversation. And she says something like, I really want to get to know you. And I said, yeah, me too. And I said, what's your birthday? And she said, May 7th, 1971. And I went, oh my God, that's my granddaughter's birthday. Are you a Taurus? She said, yeah, my moon is in Libra. I said, oh my God, I'm a Libra. So we knew that we would come together to share, because we're both double Venuses. And we have, since that time, we have co-created a women's group. We're co-creating another major event or retreat or whatever at Unity. She's been my guest on the show. So welcome again, my good friend and soul sister, Tara Abundance.
Thank you so much, Lorelei. It's so fun because you mentioned that you are a Libra sun, but you forgot to mention that you're a Taurus moon. Which
oh, thank you. Yes.
People who know you may know that, but I'm a Taurus sun, Libra moon, and you're a Libra sun, Taurus moon. And you did our chart together as well, which we'll be getting to that in just a moment. So the way that we're turning the tables today is that I'm interviewing you instead of you doing an interview.
Excited.
Instead of you getting to interview someone else, I get to ask you some questions. And so one of my first questions is, you talk a lot about how every match is made in heaven. And I'm really curious why you say every match is made in heaven instead of a match made in heaven.
I'm so glad you asked me that. And I'm so glad I get to say it where more people will hear it than when I say it on a one-to-one every once in a while. So to make a long story short, a number of years ago, I was in a 12-year cycle of expansion, and someone said to me, I'm a Libra, why don't you start a dating service? Libra's all about relationships. And I said, no, but I'll start a matchmaking service. I just like the different. And I called it Match Made in Heaven. And it had 2 red hearts and an arrow. And I used to have these cosmic connection parties once a month where people would come. And of course, they were looking for their match. And if they didn't see someone or whatever, they left. But that was my first understanding, Tara, that every relationship is instructing us. That, there are forms of relationship, but everyone we meet is a piece of our puzzle. And so I remember looking out at my logo years ago, this is like the 90s, and saying, if I ever write a book or whatever, it's not match made in heaven. Like people will say, well, that's a match made in heaven, and that's enough. But every match is made in heaven, because every single relationship that we have is reflecting something that's ours. And then from there, of course, being a student of A Course in Miracles and the breakthrough work that I do, it all affirms that. And I just, it's like I want to shout that from the rooftops. It's like that very relationship that we think is our downfall, whether it's a family member or a new business situation or a friend or whatever. I mean, you and I've had so many conversations.
Yeah.
It's like, I really believe people often leave the form of a relationship before they get the gift.
Right. Because it gets hard, right? And when it gets hard, people are like, I'm out. When that's like the juicy stuff.
Yeah, because it's all well and good to sit on top of a mountain meditating, or whatever our private, replenishment, what we need. But we don't know who we are until we're out there in our relationships. We don't have a clue. We can think we're the most compassionate and kind and loving, and that may be true, but there's also, I mean, you know, and it's interesting because, people will use the terms good and bad traits or positive or negative. I talk conscious Taurus, and unconscious Taurus,
Right.
because it's what are we consciously, you
Mhm.
know, projecting, or not projecting, but what are we consciously sharing, and
Right.
then what's unconscious, what's in the background
Under the surface.
that that very person may bring up. And it's interesting because the moon's next to Pluto today, as I said, which would
Mm.
suggest that whoever watches or listens to this will get some nugget from what we talk about, that
Mm.
will have this. I'm just channeling this in the moment, that will have
Yep.
them think about, wow, I could see that relationship. I can see where I had to fight in that relationship,
Yep.
but I needed to know that I could fight. Oh, and oh my God, I just found out I'm not an Aries, but I've got Aries energy in my relationship, which is
Mm.
the fighter, which is the warrior.
Yeah.
And someone comes along to bring that out, and then we make them the bad guy, right? Project
Yep.
onto them, oh my God, they're so mean and cruel.
Yeah.
Well, that's a shadow side. That's an unconscious expression of Aries energy.
Yeah, and when you were just talking about that, the thing that was kind of rolling through my head is this connection that you and I have had about the multiple relationships that we've been in. While I've only been married, I'm in my third marriage, but I've been in a lot of long-term relationships, like live together kind of relationships. And when my husband that I have now, when he and I got together, we both started comparing notes, and we had both done the same thing. We both lived in multiple relationship times with other people, and when we got together, our decision was every time we would clash, we would be like, "That's it, we're done." And then one of us, usually me, because I was usually the one that was out. I was usually the one, I'd be like, no, something's keeping me here. And now
Mhm.
we've been together for 17 years, longest relationship I've ever been in. And we have a kid together and we've built a home together. And there's so many benefits that have come from us choosing to stay through the hardest things we've ever experienced in our lives. And so say a little bit about what your experience has been in relationships, because you've been married many times.
A
And
number of times, yes. And
yeah,
and over the years, I've certainly done the guilt and the shame, and can she get it right? And I wonder
right,
what people think of me. And I
right,
mean, I'm a Libra. Libra wants to be liked, right? And it's like, oh my God, they're not going to like me if they see this
right.
part, or they're not going to. And finally, in this period of my third chapter, which is so interesting, I really understand, and it came to me again recently. I already knew it, but it was just really clear. And I thought, Lorelei, you have done enough guilt and shame and blah, blah,
Mm,
blah, which is all ego stuff. It has nothing to do with who you really are. You have the courage to actually engage in this way because you want to learn about who they are and who you are.
yeah.
And and I'm friends with like five of them. But
Yep.
but what I got was, I learned what I need to learn. That's not selfish. I
Right.
celebrate the 50-year marriage, the 60-year marriage. I think that's beautiful. And you
Sure.
know what? I celebrate a 2-month marriage, or a
Mhm.
6-month, or a 12 years, or whatever it is.
Sure.
It's the judgment that we bring to it. So in letting that go, I've let more joy out because I know a lot about relationships.
Yes.
In other words, and as you and I've talked about, now I intend really to have a relationship with a man that I've never had before,
Yep.
that
Yep.
I never felt worthy of, that I never valued myself enough, but I do
Yes.
now because I know I mean, I know when I say I know exactly what I want. I know what I know that I want is a spiritual partner, a
Right.
spiritual playmate. That's
Right.
my definition. It's not about marriage, it's not about what the form is.
Sure.
And we're going to see with Pluto in Aquarius for 20 years, we're going to see a lot of outside the box. I mean, you're coming into your own big time. The
Yeah.
fact that you have Mars in Aquarius in your
Yeah.
chart.
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up because when we've talked before, I didn't know how to do relationship like I know now. And the way that my husband and I, and you know, Michael, the way that he and I have connected is different because we've both been willing to realize where our own setbacks are. And
Mm.
so as you talk about the Aquarius piece, it spins out. I start spinning out because I think of all these other things. But instead of going there, I want to talk about our relationship to each other,
Oh.
because one of the things that you did for us is that you created a chart that was our two charts together, and you
Hmm.
call it our relationship chart. And so when you say every match is made in heaven, you and I are a perfect example of that.
And
It was kismet that we came together, that we started talking, that we learned the connections that we had, and then the more you dug into our relationship chart, the more we've just flourished and blossomed since then.
I think we're supposed to have a show or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's what
probably
came
so.
to me earlier. Or
I
let me
love
tell
it.
you. So we have all this Venus connection, and Venus is about relationship. That this is for everybody, and you all have a Venus in your chart. You have the planet Venus, and Venus can tell you what you love and what you enjoy and what you appreciate and what you value. And it's such an important. They're all important, but that's such an important part of who each of us is. So our relationship, as you know, is Cancer,
Yes.
which and our relationship has really flourished over the last year as the planet of expansion has been in Cancer since last June, which for everybody is all this emotional regulation stuff and nervous system regulation you're hearing all over the place. That is so Jupiter in Cancer in terms of the wisdom of our emotions. And I just want to say, just interjecting here, Jupiter's going to change signs. It's going to leave the emotional water sign of Cancer and dance, and it's pertinent to us, and dance into Leo on June 30th.
Mm,
So you and I have the sun in Cancer, which is the mutual nurturing,
yeah.
and you've got the sun in the fourth house, the Cancer house. So do
Yep.
I. You
Yep.
have a home that you love that I do too.
Yes.
And then our moon is Leo. So we're a new moon in Cancer, but the moon had moved into Leo, as the moon always does. It's still in a
Sure.
phase. The phase is 3.5 days. It only
Yep.
stays in a sign for like 2.5 days. So we're actually a new moon relationship. Well, a new moon is like being in Aries. It's pioneering. New moon people, a new moon person, a person born at a new moon, or a relationship that's a new moon relationship. That's a relationship that is meant to. I mean, we're doing it all over the place.
Do it all over the place. And the
Group
funny
over
thing
here, a
is,
group over there.
exactly. And who knew that when we met, what was it, 3 years ago or something, when we connected and we're like, we need to stay connected, that it's literally just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So when we say every match is made in heaven, the concept of matches, like you mentioned earlier, is often, oh, romantic love. And the thing is, you and I are different generations. We come from different generations. We come from different backgrounds. We come from a different history. But that being said, nobody would have seen the two of us being like best friends. We've become so close and we've become so connected that it's given us permission to truly live into the relationship that wants to come through us.
Yes, and this just popped in. This is so basic, but I don't think I've necessarily ever said this to you. Our relationship is about safety.
Mm,
I mean, because
that's
Cancer is the sign
oh
of feeling safe, and that's safe enough to. This is for
yeah.
everybody now with Jupiter still in Cancer, safe enough to be vulnerable. Like I'm
Oh,
safe enough to let you see that I'm hurting, or that I'm angry, or that I'm excited, or that I'm
yep,
disappointed
yep.
because you didn't receive my gift, whoever you are.
Right.
Um, right? I mean,
Yes.
um, and I keep thinking about, well, so many thoughts popped in as I was getting ready for the show about you and your chart and us. But here we are. So you and I, as a relationship, are in, and it hasn't actually been exact yet. It's coming in the next 2 months.
Mm,
To Jupiter to the Sun, which is expansion of our conscious relationship, our Cancer relationship. Whether that means we're going to plant a new garden, or we're going to
right.
seed this, and then in the next few months after that, Jupiter's going to come to the moon of our relationship. So it's like that's it's that I mean, and again, I'm sort of feeling into this as I'm saying it. If I were talking
Right.
to a client or someone, I would be saying, wow, isn't it interesting in this relationship
Yeah.
with this person? It means that you both are expanding together to create something because we have a Leo moon, and that's the
Right.
joy. I
Right.
mean, when you shared with me on our connection call and then on the show that you did about the sauce, will you,
Yeah.
will you share that? You and Michael were making dinner, and it was this is a joy gem,
You
by the
have
way,
to tell me, you have to remind me. Remind me.
about the sauce. Whether you were going to put sauce in a dish that you were cooking.
I'm not even remembering the conversation right
Oh, well, it was you were cooking something, and you thought, oh, would it bring me joy to create a sauce
now.
for
Right.
this? And you
Right.
went, yes, it would.
It really would. And yeah, no, actually, what's really great
And it's
is,
funny it would be a cooking thing because we have a son in Cancer.
and I have so much Taurus, which is all
I
about the
admit
food.
too.
It's funny because I couldn't remember that particular moment, but the main reason, Lorelai, is because this comes up all the time now. Like all the time since you and I have met, you have reminded me that I come from joy. You have helped me remember where my joy lives, which is kind of all over the place, but I get so serious, and Michael can be so serious, and even our kid can be so serious, and but we're all jokesters. We all love to joke, and we all love to be silly and playful. And so you've helped me remember that joy can live in every single thing that we do. And so when I think about making food or making a sauce or anything else, would it bring me joy to make this? And if the answer is like, no, not really, it just feels like drudgery, I don't do it anymore.
Exactly.
I just don't do it. And so again, the whole every match is made in heaven, that's one of the things that you've helped feed in me is remembering that I come from joy because my South Node is in Leo.
Yeah.
And so for me to consistently, constantly remember to bring that back up to the surface.
Yeah.
So I want to ask, go
It
ahead.
comes so naturally to you because you came in with it.
Right. But sometimes I have to be sparked to remember
Well,
that.
so let me just share real quick. I
Yeah.
mean, it makes sense that you obviously have when we were texting earlier and you were asking for, I thought weren't you going to send me 3 things? And I
Yes.
said, yeah, I was going to send them. I thought we talked about because you have Saturn next, not too close, but you have the planet Saturn next to your sun. Responsibility, reality. Sarah has Saturn right on her sun, but it's also
Right.
achievement and all that, and it's serious, right?
Right.
I have Neptune next to the sun. I'm like a Pisces Libra. So it's like I can be organized and all of that, but I wasn't in Saturn mode. I was in
Right.
Neptune mode
Right.
of, this is going to be, but I
It'll be
was
fun.
honoring that in you because I
Yeah.
have witnessed you in so many areas bring the joy of your spirit to whatever the creation is, and not just the joy of your spirit but your abilities as a stage manager, what a general contractor of
Right.
anything.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Well,
really.
I thank you for saying that. I want to jump because I know we don't have a whole lot of time. I want to jump to your 7 relationship truths. And so I'm going to read each one of them and
Okay.
then I'm going to share my favorite one just briefly. And then I want you to talk about your favorite one.
Perfect.
Okay. And
Perfect.
also I want you to tell me how did you get to these 7 relationship truths?
I'll tell you that first, just
Okay.
sheer experience. There's nothing original about these when she reads them, folks, but I have adapted them and choose to embody them. They're not going to go, oh my God, that's not a new
Yeah,
thought. No, it's not a
brilliant.
new thought, but they're thoughts over the years. I've had those relationship truths for years.
Yes.
Anyway, so yes,
So I'm going to
out
suggest
of experience, out of personal experience.
Okay. Okay, beautiful. That that makes perfect sense. I understand that.
And what I've
So,
learned from other masters for sure, but
right.
my own personal, I'm living through this. Oh, I get it now.
Right. So I'm going to suggest that people take out their pens and pencil, paper, whatever, and write these 7 relationship truths down because you're going to want to come back to them and just look at where you are in all of your relationships. So the first one is every relationship is a sacred gift and an assignment from God, beginning with the most important relationship, the one with yourself, the Lord of your being. The second one, happy, fulfilling relationships are only possible when you become your own best friend, parent, and partner. You don't expect it from the other person. Number 3, relationships are mirrors. What you see in others that you like is in you, and what you see in others that you don't like is also in you. Number 4, your script. You script everyone in your life. If the script no longer serves you, only you can change it. That's a big one. That's a big one. Number 5, the people who challenge you the most are actually your greatest champions, your healing, holding angels. I call them your teacher in drag.
Oh, that's good. I
Your
like
angel
that.
in drag.
Angel.
Relationships never, number 6, relationships never end, relationships never die, relationships simply change form. And number 7, astrology is a valuable tool to understand who comes into your life, when and why, for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I'm going to add to that, because you know how much I love it. I'm going to say not just astrology, but also human design and gene keys, because they're all kind of related anyway. They're all connected to astrology. So my favorite one really is probably number 3, relationships are mirrors. What you see in others that you like, or what you see in others that you don't like, are also in you, and probably coming up for you to pay attention to, because you need to grow from that awareness or that acknowledgement. So tell me what your favorite one is and why.
Well, and I so received them as you said them, and so I really appreciate that. And I go, wow, that's so true. I don't know. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's been the one that has probably been the most challenging, and would certainly point to the fact that I've been married 6 times. In that happy, fulfilling relationships are only possible when I become my own best friend, which I feel that I am, my own parent, and my own partner. And, you know, when you got Libra, a lot of Libra energy, Libra is looking for itself in the other.
Yes.
A lot of Libras are married, quote, more than once, or partnered more than once, because that is a flaw, if you will, or less conscious of Libra. I don't know who I am unless I see my reflection in your eyes. And once we get that we're the ones that we're looking for, that's huge for Libra. Jessica, I hope you get that a lot sooner than I did.
Me too.
Yeah, and you too. Yeah, really, because the show shows you evolution works, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So I would say that one, and being my own partner, you know, because I certainly have had opportunities where I was helpless and I needed to be rescued, and that was very much not being my own partner. So I would say just that one has been the one of really you know, and still comes up. I mean, you know, where I go, oh, you know, here's another opportunity.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. Wow. 30 minutes goes by fast. And so we have just a little bit more time. And I just want to ask you, is there anything else you would like to share about Every Match is Made in Heaven, or relationship truths, or anything else that you want to say before we...
I would just like to say to everyone, bless every single person who crosses your path. Every single person, because the purpose of the relationship is that they are on that path, whether you never see them again. They may be the disgruntled grocery store clerk, or it might be someone from it doesn't matter. They are bringing you a gift of yourself. And if you're open and willing and vulnerable enough with yourself to go, wow, I am making it all about them. If you're still blaming anyone for why your life isn't working, get a new script. I mean,
look in the mirror.
Because that, you know, there's a technique at Breakthrough that Francesca and I do a lot. It's like I am done with that. There's a whole movement that goes with that, but I'm done with that. I mean, literally. So my point is, bless every relationship. Every relationship is sacred, because, as the Course in Miracles would say, in every relationship you'll find yourself or lose yourself.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Lorelei.
Thank you, Tara. What a place for us to play.
Yes.
And until we connect, my playmates for the soul, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars. Thank you for listening to Joy Rules with me, Lorelei Robbins. If this episode sparked something in you, don't keep joy to yourself. Share and spread the light. Tune in the 2nd and 4th Friday of the month at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, right here on Transformation Talk, where together we reclaim joy as the foundation for transformation. To dive deeper, visit me at joyrules.com. And remember, joy isn't optional, it's essential. And visit joyrules.com for lots more joy. Until next time, keep choosing joy and join the Joy Revolution. And until we connect, I wish you blue skies, green lights, and lucky stars.